Servus, Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. We are at that weird stage now in politics in Germany where the new Bundestag, our new federal parliament, has been elected at the end of February, but we do not have a new government yet. We do not have a new chancellor yet. There were coalition talks between the Social Democrats and the CDU-CSU, and Friedrich Merz, the head of the CDU, will probably be our next chancellor, but it is not final yet. However, I talked about this before, he had to break so many promises that he made during his campaign in order to get an agreement with the Social Democrats and a quasi-coalition contract that is penned right now, or that they have right now. But both sides already call that into question, and they say, well, there is some wiggle room here, and yes, we said that in the coalition talks and it's even in the contract, but we can still change it if things change along the way. Be that as it may, the result is that this coalition contract and what everybody involved are saying right now is nothing else than a continuation of Merkel and our old traffic light coalition. It is Green Party politics. It is far leftist communist nonsense on steroids. And this is why the popularity of the CDU and their share in the polls has been declining. It is in free fall since election day, basically, because already on the next day he said that he will not change anything about migration, and he will maybe raise our taxes, and he will not cut spending. No, he goes into extreme debt, adding another 50% on our federal debt. Also, nuclear power won't be brought back, and he will also not change anything about the insane CO2 air tax and this New World Order nonsense that the Green Party basically brought in. So everything stays the same, it gets worse and more debt. That is the bottom line. So this is not what people wanted when they voted for him. So the AfD is number one now, at least in one of the polls. In the others, they're pretty much on par with the CDU-CSU right now, as you can see here. So by the end of February in the elections, the CDU-CSU had 28.5, the AfD had 20.8, and they now met basically in the middle at 25. And if this trend continues, the AfD will be clearly the strongest party in Germany, at least in the polls right now. And that is the depressing bit about generally this white pill right now here, is that it doesn't make a real substantial difference because these are just polls. This is not an election. This is not power yet. But you have to bear in mind that this is not even 2 months after the election. The new government has not even yet formed, and they are already losing the trust of the voters. According to the average of the current polls, the only stable two-party coalition would be CDU-CSU and AfD. None of the other coalitions would work. The current coalition that is working out the contract right now, CDU-CSU SPD, is only at 47%. Once again, according to the polls, of course. And the AfD is attacking the not established new government already on these points in these fields where especially the CDU and Friedrich Merz let down their voters. And that is that these charter flights from Pakistan that are bringing in new guests from Afghanistan are continuing. And yes, this used to be labeled a far-right conspiracy theory. However, it is once again absolutely correct. These flights have been going on in secret over the last years, and now people found out about it, and the media also, the mainstream media, finally had to admit that yes, these night flights are being carried out by the German state, and they are bringing in migrants from all over the world, but especially Afghanistan, and they're landing here and they're getting right into welfare. It is really like Germany is scouring the planet looking for the most dangerous, the most unstable, and I'm sure the most educated and the most high IQ people. And I'm sure that they are kitchen chefs and they know their way around the cutting board. Maybe some even have a driver's license for a truck, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. They fly them in under the cover of darkness, hoping that nobody finds out, and they put them right into welfare, into the middle of our communities, where you know what will happen then. And we've seen that time and time again. There is a long list of victims, and the crimes are horrible, horrible. Then, of course, they are saying that we should stay out of the confrontation with Russia that the US mainly initiated, and that this is not our conflict. This is a US-Russian conflict or a Russian-Ukrainian conflict. Depends on how you really see the role of Ukraine and the US in here. And then also the fact that we won't have lower taxes like Mr. Merz promised, but also the Green Party air tax, carbon dioxide, insanity policies that are still being continued. That is something that the AfD explicitly attacks, as well as the general fact that the policies of the old and of the new government are absolutely hostile towards entrepreneurs and businesses, costing us millions of jobs, putting us into a recession, even in the absence of a turbulent global world market situation. Even if everything was booming and everything went well, Germany would still go into recession just because of the laws that were introduced in recent years and that are still being upheld right now by this new conservative government. But there is a new aspect that I want to shed some light on, and that is the voter potential of the AfD. Now, if you look at this chart, you see these brown bars on the top. This is the percentage of people that were saying, I will never, or I don't consider this party at all. This is a party I will definitely not vote for. Then you have these strong colors on the bottom, this strong black or this strong blue, these darker colors. That is what they actually would vote for in this polling analysis. And then you have these lighter colors, and that is the voter potential. That means I could imagine to eventually vote for this party if this and that happened, or I might eventually vote for them, something like that. So this is what we call the voter potential. And the AfD used to be around 15% and 20%, and now they're already at 30%. Yeah, the CDU-CSU is still at 40%, just like the SPD, because all of the old people are basically cycling back and forth between those two big parties like they used to when our political system was still a bit different, or like it is now basically in the United States still, where you have two major parties. This is a remnant of that, so old people would either give their vote to the CDU-CSU or the SPD. And this is also something to have an eye on, I think, and where the AfD is really top, that is this white shaded area also in this bold colored column, and that is the people that are really sure of their decision. That is another question they ask, like, how convinced are you? Or is that just a gut feeling, or are you really convinced by like facts, or did you read the program, etc.? This could mean many things, but it is the level of commitment, and the AfD is top here. No other party has 20%. The AfD is the only party with 20% of the voters that are absolutely sure that they will vote AfD, nothing else. And that is a big deal. That means it is not a protest party that people vote for to stick it to the man, or to just voice their dissatisfaction with the powers that be. No, they are really sure of the AfD, and this is what they will definitely vote for. So especially this voter potential number that is at 30% right now has been going up consistently in the past. And I will keep an eye on this analysis in order to keep you informed. So to sum up once again, the AfD is pretty much the strongest party in Germany right now, according to the polls. They are already the strongest opposition party in the federal government, and they are very strong in many state parliaments. And I can promise you, the way that things are going right now, especially with the world economy and with Mr. Friedrich Merz, how he lied to his voters and how he will now form a government that will really work in the complete opposite direction of what he talked about during the campaign. And maybe only then a lot of his voters will realize the magnitude of his lies and of his treachery. I think a lot of his voters will become very dissatisfied. There are people in the CDU party already that are showing some mild signs of rebellion against him, I must say. Maybe more about this in an upcoming video. But maybe this new government will fail before it is even formed. And I'm sure, well, let's just say I wouldn't be surprised if they wouldn't make it for the whole 4-year term. Just like the traffic light, they also had to call early snap elections. Maybe we will have elections soon. I mean, it's becoming like Italy here, but well, not the weather, but the political situation. Enjoy the rest of your day. Servus, Kameraden.